What's up, Robert? All right, it's been a minute since we did a little Bible study, so I'm a little late. I had to fix the tire on my finally fixed the tire on my scooter. I knew it was going to suck. That's why it took so long for me to do it. Plus it was wintertime. But I finally got it fixed. I had to pry it onto my dang scooter. Now the scooter has solid wheels, so I can't get flat tires anymore. All right, we're doing. I'm gonna try to get 10 through 15 today. I have a hole in my lip of Second Kings. We're gonna learn about Jehu. Jehu. He's gonna be pretty gangster. And we're gonna wrap up with the death of Elisha. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Chapter 10. 2 Kings chapter 10. And Ahab had 70 sons. Dang! 70 sons. How many daughters did he have? The boy was getting it in. 70 sons in Samaria. And Jehu wrote letters and sent to Samaria unto the rulers of Jezreel, to the elders, and to them that brought up Ahab's children, saying, Now as soon as this letter cometh to you, seeing your master's sons are with you, and there are with you chariots and horses, a fenced city also, and armor, look even out the best and meetest of your master's sons, and set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house. But they were exceedingly afraid, and said, Behold, two kings stood not before him. How then shall we stand? And he that was over the house, and he that was over the city, the elders also, and the bringers up of the children, sent to Jehu, saying, We are thy servants, and will do all that thou shalt bid us. We will not make any king. Do that which is good in thine eyes. Then he wrote a letter the second time to them, saying, If ye be mine, and if ye will hearken unto my voice, take ye the heads of the men, your master's sons, and come to me to Jezreel. Take the heads of the master's sons, not cut their heads off, but the leaders, and come to me to Jezreel by the morrow this time. Now the king's sons, being 70 persons, were with the great men of the city which brought them up. And it came to pass when the letter came to them that they took the king's sons and slew 70 persons. Oh, no. Oh, he was talking about their heads. Okay. All right. I thought he meant like the leaders of the people. Nope. He really meant their heads. And it came to pass when the letter came to them that they took the king's sons and slew 70 persons and put their heads in baskets and sent them to Jezreel. And there came a messenger and told him, saying, They have brought the heads of the king's sons. And he said, Lay ye them in 2 heaps at the entering of the gate until the morning. We got 35 heads on this side, 35 heads on that side. You're going to walk into the city, you're going to have 140 eyes on you. Dang. How many concubines did he have? I don't know if he had 70 sons, but now he doesn't have any sons. Now he's got 7 sons' torsos. Just like the movie 7. Dang, man. And it came to pass in the morning that he went out and stood and said to all the people, Ye be righteous. Behold, I conspired against my master and slew him. But who slew all these? So, I guess Ahab was conspiring against Jehu. And that's why they did this. And now Ahab's out 70 sons. But Ahab's been a real jerk the whole time. So, who slew all these? Know now that there shall fall unto the earth nothing of the word of the Lord, which the Lord spake concerning the house of Ahab. For the Lord hath done that which he spake by his servant Elijah. So Jehu slew all that remained of the house of Ahab in Jezreel, and all his great men, and his kinsfolk, and his priests, until he left him none remaining. And God said this was going to happen to Ahab. So this is part of the plan. Ahab is the captain from Moby Dick. Well, he's the king in the Old Testament, and he was a real jerk. And he arose and departed and came to Samaria. And as he was at the shearing house in the way, Jehu met with the brethren of Ahaziah, king of Judah, and said, Who are ye? And they answered, We are the brethren of Ahaziah, and we go down to salute the children of the king and the children of the queen. The queen? Not queens? And he said, Take them alive. And they took them alive and slew them at the pit of the shearing house, even 42 men. Neither left he any of them. And when he was departed thence, he lighted on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him. And he saluted him and said to him, Is thine heart right, as my heart is with thy heart? And Jehonadab answered, It is. If it be, give me thine hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up into the chariot. And he said, Come with me, and see my zeal for the Lord. So they made him ride in his chariot. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria, till he had destroyed him according to the saying of the Lord, which he spoke to Elijah. And Jehu gathered all the people together, and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much. What? Oh, Jehu's setting him up. Jehu's setting him up right now. He said, Ahab served Baal a little bit. I'm going to serve Baal a lot. Bring me all of the prophets of Baal. Jehu's setting him up. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants and all his priests. Let none be wanting, for I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal. Whoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety, to the intent that he might destroy the worshipers of Baal. So Jehu said, You know that King Ahab that I just killed? He only worshiped Baal a little bit. I'm going to worship Baal a lot. So anybody who needs anything from Baal, if you want to pray to Baal about something, if you need anything, bring all the prophets, bring all the priests, bring all the people who want any blessings from Baal. We're going to have an epic sacrifice for Baal. But secretly, he was plotting. I like this guy. And Jehu said, Proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal. And they proclaimed it. And Jehu sent through all Israel, and all the worshippers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left that came not. And they came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to another. And he said unto him that was over the vestry, Bring forth vestments for all the worshippers of Baal. And he brought them forth vestments. And Jehu went, and Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal, Search, and look that there be here with you none of the servants of the Lord, but the worshippers of Baal only. So make sure there's no God-fearing people in this room. Make sure everybody next to you, we're going to do the buddy system. Everybody look to your left. Make sure that's a Baal worshiper. Everybody look to your right. Make sure that's a Baal worshiper. If you see any of these Israelites or these God-fearing people, get them out of here. We only want Baal worshipers in here today. And when they went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings, Jehu appointed 80 men without, and said, If any of the men whom I have brought into your hands escape, he that letteth him go, his life shall be for the life of him. So, if any of these Baal worshipers try to get out of this building, you kill them, or else I kill you. Based. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end to offering the burnt offering, that Jehu said to the guard and to the captains, Go in and slay them. Let none come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword. And the guard and the captains cast them out and went to the city of the house of Baal. And they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal and burned them. And they break down the image of Baal and break down the house of Baal and made it a drought house unto this day. Thus Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. Based. Let's go, Jehu. Let's go, Jehu. See, we need Christians like this, not these soft Christians. I'm tired of these soft Christians. We need to do some smiting. We got some smitten to do. There's some people out here who need to be smoted. Straight up. Based. What's up, Abe? Then Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. No more Baal in Israel. Now we just got to get Jehu on these Moabites and these dang all the other worshipers, demon worshipers. Howbeit, from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, Jehu departed not from after them, to wit, the golden calves that were in Bethel and that were in Dan. And the Lord said unto Jehu, because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in mine eyes. That's important. And hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in mine heart. Thy children of the fourth generation shall sit on the throne of Israel. Hey, thank you, Gorilla Biscuits. We don't really grift in these streams, but I do appreciate it. I've been spending all my money on computer stuff and stuff for the studio. I need to treat myself. They got a new all-you-can-eat sushi bar right around the corner from me. And apparently it's fire and it's getting good reviews. And the lunch deal is like $18. All-you-can-eat sushi and Asian food, you know? I'll be hungry 30 minutes later, even if I eat the whole buffet, but who cares? Did you guys hear that? Let me read that again for you. This is important. For all the people that say, for all the soft Christians out there who are scared to say, yeah, sometimes you got to wipe out your enemy. You got to take the sword to them. And that is right in God's eyes. And then the atheists will say, oh, that's moral subjectivity. Blah, blah, blah. No, the object of our morality is the moral arbiter, God. So, yes, if God says it's right, it's right. If God says it's wrong, it's wrong. Objectively. He is the objective moral bearer. He is the arbiter of all that is moral. God is. So this would sound like something that to an atheist or to a soft Christian, to, you know, the type of Christian who goes to church where there's a gay flag hanging out front, they'd say, oh, that's not the God I serve. I serve a different God, I serve Jesus of the New Testament, who's a different person. Same person. Well, different persons, same essence. Same essence. One with the Father. That's Jesus. Listen to this. And the Lord said unto Jehu, this is after Jehu just killed a whole room full of Baal worshipers. Slaughtered all of them. Priests, prophets, regular people who just wanted, maybe they were going there to pray for food or something. They're probably starving because they were in a cursed land. Generally, non-Christian nations, you know, places where they worship the dirt, places where they worship demons, communist countries. There's a lot of people starving. So I'm sure a lot of people were in that room emaciated and hungry, saying, I just want to ask Baal for a snacky snack. And they got slaughtered. And what did God say to Jehu? He said, because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in mine eyes, and hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in mine heart. It was in God's heart that Ahab, his wife, his 70 sons, and all the worshipers of Baal get slaughtered. That was right in God's heart. That was the right thing to do. That's important. Never forget. Oh, but that's the Old Testament, John. I don't want to hear it. Jesus was flipping tables over too. He was getting a little political, you could say. God of sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. Yeah, that's not God. Everybody wants to talk about the love, like Tyson James said. Talk about what does he say in the song? God is love, but they forget the other half. Oh wait, he's a beta. I can't think of how the song goes now. He says, say God is love, you forget the other half. He is also wrath. Get it right. And he is the creator. Bet my bottom dollar he is not a beta. You need to go back to the creator. Give your life to God because he made you. You got your mama's spirit. God's spirit's much greater. He's an alpha. Trust me, you don't want to be a beta. 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 But Jehu took no heed to walk in the law of the Lord God of Israel with all his heart. For he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin. So Jehu was not a great guy. Jehu still followed Jeroboam. He still worshiped the golden calves. You know, he did not do all that was... Did I catch that? No. There's a fly in my room. I thought I got him. So Jehu, he did this thing, and God rewards him for it by saying, your fourth generation will reign over Israel. But you're still going to suffer because you do not follow me with all your heart, soul, and might. You don't seek me along with nothing else. You're following after Jeroboam, and you're worshiping idols and stuff. So you're going to suffer, but in a couple generations, I'll make it up to you. My PC overheated yesterday, so spent time cleaning out all the fans, etc. It's behaving up to now. I need to... Well... No, I don't think we need to clean this just yet. We're going to have to clean it up. I'm going to need to get some cleaning stuff eventually. All right, so he followed after his father Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin. The king, if the king is unrighteous, it makes the citizens to sin. It makes the citizens wicked. If the king is righteous, the people prosper. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like maybe righteous people should make sure that there's a righteous king. I have a glass case like this, and I literally burnt myself. It was that hot. Dang. I wonder if mine doesn't have enough fans sometimes. If I ever upgrade to a 5090, I'll probably need to put some fans along the bottom here. Extra fans. But I think for now it's fine. We never really... It never gets too hot. If I play Wukong while I'm streaming, we get the GPU running at 99% all night. But otherwise, temperature is not an issue. And it's hot right now. But I usually have the air conditioner on, but still it's hot. Okay. Verse 32. In those days, the Lord began to cut Israel short. And Hazael smote them in all the coasts of Israel, from Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, the Gadites, and the Reubenites, and the Manassites, from Aroer, which is by the river Arnon, even Gilead and Bashan. Now the rest of the acts of Jehu, and all that he did, and all his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel? I wish they could find these books of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel and the books of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah. That'd be interesting to read. They never found them, though. And Jehu slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria, and Jehoaz, his son, reigned in his stead. Sleeping with his fathers means he died. I always got to say that because I don't want people thinking he's sleeping with his dad, you know? And the time that Jehu reigned over Israel and Samaria was 20 and 8 years. Chapter 11, another king. And when Athaliah, the mother of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. all the seed royal. What does that mean? Destroyed all the seed royal. Rose and destroyed all the royal offspring. Dang. She killed all the royal offspring? What the? But Jehosheba, the daughter of King Joram, sister. See, it's like feminism was creeping into the Bible. Remember in the good old days of the Old Testament when it didn't even mention women? Then all of a sudden, Ruth comes along. And ever since Ruth, we're hearing about mothers and daughters. There was no talk of mothers and daughters in the books of Moses, which makes you wonder why the Jews would be matrilineal instead of patrilineal. Doesn't make any sense because the Torah is all patrilineal. It doesn't even mention women unless it's like Sarah or Rebecca or something. But whenever it gives you the begats, the lineages, it's always the fathers and the sons, the fathers and the sons, the fathers and the sons. You get Leah and Rebecca and Sarah and Eve and women like this who are just mentioned as being the guy's wife. And usually at least in Joseph and Abraham's case, they would lie and say they were their sister. Well, in Abraham's case, Rebecca was his half sister, but you don't get a lot of mention of the ladies until Ruth, and then after Ruth, once we have a monarchy instead of a theocracy, you start hearing more about the ladies. So Jehosheba, okay. Sister of Ahaziah took Joash, the son of Ahaziah, and stole him from among the king's sons, which were slain. And they hid him, even him and his nurse, in the bedchamber from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. This is now the third child when kings or queens are out killing all the children. This is now the third child to be rescued. The first was Moses. The second is not Joseph. Joseph was kind of saved, but who was the other one? Not Joshua. There was a second one. I can't remember. Not Isaac. Not Abraham. Not Joshua. Who's the third? There was another one that got saved just like Moses. I can't think of it. I can't remember. But and then also it happens with Jesus too. So it's like a cyclical theme. In the bedchamber from Athaliah, so that he was not slain. And he was with her, hid in the house of the Lord 6 years. And Athaliah did reign over the land. They let the queen reign over the land after Ahaziah died. In the 7th year, Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds with the captains and the guard, and brought them to him into the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord, and showed them the king's son. This is some Game of Thrones stuff right here. The king has an heir. The king has an heir, and the queen is going to try to kill him. And he commanded them, saying, this is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall even be keepers of the watch of the king's house. And a third part shall be at the gate of Sur, and a third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep watch of the house, that it be not broken down. And 2 parts of all you that go forth on the Sabbath, even they shall keep the watch of the house of the Lord about the king. And ye shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hand. And he that cometh within the ranges, let him be slain. And be ye with the king as he goeth out and as he cometh in. And the captains over the hundreds did according to all things that Jehoiada the priest commanded. And they took every man his men that were to come in on the Sabbath with them that should go out on the Sabbath, and came to Jehoiada the priest. And to the captains over hundreds did the priest give King David spears and shields. Did the priests give King David's spears and shields that were in the temple of the Lord? And the guard stood, every man with his weapons in his hand, round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar and the temple. And he brought forth the king's son, and put the crown upon him, and gave him the testimony. And they made him king, and anointed him, and they clapped their hands, and said, God save the king. And when Athaliah heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she came to the people into the temple of the Lord. And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as a manner was, and the princes and the trumpeters by the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced, and blew with trumpets. And Athaliah rent her clothes and cried, Treason, treason! But Jehoiada the priest commanded the captains of the hundreds, the officers of the host, and said unto them, Have her forth without the ranges, and him that followeth her kill with the sword. For the priest had said, Let her not be slain in the house of the Lord. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by which the horses came into the king's house, and there was she slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king and the people, that they should be the Lord's people, between the king also and the people. And all the people of the land went into the house of Baal and brake it down. His altars and his images brake they in pieces thoroughly, and slew Matan, the priest of Baal, before the altars. And the priest appointed officers over the house of the Lord. And he took the rule. Now you might be saying, wait, I thought they already killed all the people of Baal. Well, they killed all the people of Baal in one area, in that area of Israel. Now I think we're in Judah now. So there's other groups of Baal worshipers that aren't dead yet. But we're working on it. We'll get there eventually. What's up, Chuck Danger? I was running an 80C. That's not that bad. 80C is not like dangerous. You can maintain 85 to 90 for extended periods of time and be all right. Once you're 85, you're getting close to where you're pushing it. But if it's running better now, then that's good. The men of the Bible are not European. And before you think to say color doesn't matter, I'd serve him if he was blah, blah, blah. Why don't you ever make them correctly? What are you talking about? Are you on drugs? Chris Terry, are you high? Who said anything about Europeans? What are you talking about? And no, I don't care about nationalities, ethnicities, races, skin colors. I don't care about any of that. That's dumb. That's dumb. I don't even believe in freaking genealogies. What does the Bible say about arguing about foolish genealogies? Don't do it. Because guess what? We let the dead bury the dead. As far as I know, I'm a third generation Floridian. What's my nationality? Floridian. My parents were from Florida. My grandparents were from Florida. And my great-grandparents were from Florida. That's all I know. I don't know. I think maybe there's some German in me somewhere. I need to put my arm down when I say that. Whoa. Might be a little German in me somewhere, but I don't know. The best I can do is guess from last names. My grandpa had a a German or Dutch last name. On my dad's side, they have an English last name. So yeah, maybe I'm probably a little bit waspy. I'm probably a little European. But I don't know that nobody in my family slept with a slave. I might have a little brother in me. You know? I don't care about all that crap. Get out of here with that. Go talk to like a Hebrew Israelite or something. Not on drugs. Okay, well, then don't say stuff. Are you a Hebrew Israelite? You seem like a Hebrew Israelite because you're always talking about colonizers and race and the people of the Bible were not European. No, duh. Europe wasn't a place for another 1,000 years. Duh. That's retarded. You ain't a brother. Oh, I might be a brother. You don't know? You don't know me? You see my 23 and me? No. You know why? Because I'm not going to send my DNA to the Mormons to put it in a vault to posthumously baptize me. I don't believe in DNA. Gay Brewster Fergalites. I think he's a Hebrew Israelite, guys. Hey, you should come on a Friday show or on a Saturday night fight night. Join the panel, and we could argue about whatever you want. But me arguing with my chat, I'm just going to make you look foolish. Or I'm going to make myself look foolish for arguing with the chat. Why you guys make all the people of the Bible Europeans? Nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever done that. What are you talking about? I said Christian nations are usually more prosperous than non-Christian nations. I didn't say anything about Europe. Now, if we're going to point to Christian nations, we're going to get a lot of America and a lot of white people and a lot of European people. That's true. But Ethiopians, a lot of Christians in Ethiopia. There's a lot of Christians in Russia. There's a lot of secret Christians in North Korea. There's 400,000 secret Christians in North Korea. So, no, I don't think that Christians are all or all the people of the Bible are European. That's stupid. You all made Christ white. Every region depicts Christ based off of how the people in that region look. It makes him more appealing to the masses. So if you go to like ancient Irish paintings of Samson and Jesus, he'll have red hair. Samson has red hair. If you go to the Middle East, Jesus is going to look Middle Eastern. If you go to Ethiopia, they probably got a black Jesus. If you go to China, Jesus probably got squinty eyes. If they got a Jesus in Antarctica, he probably got a real chubby face. He's short. He got a fur coat on. Everybody knows that. Jesus probably looked like everybody else in the Mediterranean region looked. He probably had skin like burnt brass and hair like lamb's wool. So yeah, he was probably, he had a bit of maybe a fro, maybe some dreadlocks. He probably had dreadlocks. I used to always say Jesus Christ had dreads, so shake them, like E40. Jesus probably had dreadlocks. He probably had matted, long. He was Nazarite, which is from Nazarene. I don't know if he took a Nazarene vow, but he's Jesus of Nazareth. So he probably let his hair grow long. He had woolly hair, probably matted together because he was in a dry, arid climate. So he probably had some dreadlocks, but he wasn't black. He was probably golden bronze, like burnt brass. He probably looked olive toned, olive complexioned, like the people in the Mediterranean look. If you Google skin tones of Turkey, you're going to see a bunch of pictures and you're going to see a whole range of skin tones because that's the heart of the earth. The climate zone, the region that it's in, You'll get people that are darker skinned. You'll get people that are golden bronze. You'll get people that are olive toned. You'll get people that are white. So he could have been white, but probably not. He probably was like olive skin toned. Nobody disagrees with that. If you think that that's like an own or like that's like something clever, it's not. It's stupid. Burnt brass looks olive colored. It's not black. If that's what you're trying to argue. It looks golden. First I said golden, like golden olive. Have you ever seen olive skin tone? It's kind of like if you had gold or brass and you burnt it. Yeah. That's olive skin tone. Yes. That's what it looks like. Yeah. This dude's dumb. Why am I entertaining this? What else? What's up, Rome? Jesus with beads in his hair. My Jesus is white. You know what? Jesus is above skin tone. Jesus is the light of the earth. And what color is light? It's white. So you know what? Just to piss this guy off, my Jesus, I like to think of my Jesus with shining, illuminated white skin, English, German origin, moved to America, American flag on his back, European, speaks English. That's my Jesus. Okay. All right. 8 pound, 6 ounce baby Jesus. Okay. I lost my place. Okay, they're breaking up the images of Baal. These European white guys are out here destroying the temple of Baal and slew Matin, the priest of Baal, before the altars, and the priests appointed the officers over the house of the Lord. And he took the rulers over the hundreds and the captains and the guards and all the people of the land. And they brought down the king from the house of the Lord and came by the way of the gate of the guard to the king's house. And he sat on the throne of the kings. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet. And they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Jehoash when he began to reign, and he was 100% European. Oh, sorry, that part wasn't in there. Sorry, that part's not in the Bible. Moved to America legally. Yeah, legally. He got papers. He got an H-1B visa. Why didn't the Bible use olive? I mean, it's an ancient food. Is it an ancient Hebrew or Aramaic term for what we call a skin color? No, it's not, is it? No. No, because they weren't hyper race focused back then. They either said you're black or you're not. You know, the Bible mentions read Song of Solomon. When he's talking about the slave in the field, how does he describe her? See, he said she's black and comely, which means black and attractive. The field worker in the field was black and comely. Now, why would they describe her and multiple other people throughout the Bible as being black, but they would not describe Jesus as black? They used a different expression to describe Jesus. They didn't call him black, but they call other people black. So black is a word used to describe certain people. Why wouldn't they use that word to describe Jesus if he was black? Why did they say burnt brass? Brass is golden, is a golden yellowish color, and when you burn it, it darkens up. So he looked probably golden bronze. He had a good tan. He's like me when I go out in the sun. You get a nice tan going, a nice bronze tan. He's using bronzer. But that's not black. They describe people as being black in the Bible. So if he was black, they would have just called him black. they weren't not by our modern, not by skin color. It was tribalism. It wasn't racism. It was tribalism. If you want to say, yes, they separated the Israelites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Hittites and the Perizzites and the Jebusites and the Nazarenes and the Levites and all these other things. These were tribes. And then there were larger tribes. So like the Levites and the Benjamites and the Judaites, they were all Israelites. But it wasn't race as in skin color. Your race was your tribe. And nation states weren't really a thing. By Jesus' time they were, but in the Old Testament, a nation just meant a group of people living in an area. So the nation of Israel was constantly, the land and the ownership of land was constantly changing hands and evolving and changing. But their nation was their people, their tribe. So if you want to say that was their race, then yes, then in that case, the Bible was focused on race. But it's not focused on skin color, which is what modern dumb, you're almost going to make me cuss, what modern low IQ people are hyper focused on is skin color. And that's stupid. It's dumb. Skin color is determined by the climate region you live in and the amount of sun over generations. If you took 10 dark black, 5 dark black Ethiopian men and 5 dark black Ethiopian women, and you took them to Antarctica and you put them in an isolated place where they could only reproduce with each other and within the family, within 10 generations, those kids are going to look more like people in Antarctica look. Their skin color is going to get lighter. Why? Because the skin tone over generations is affected by climate and sunlight. So the climate down there is different. Instead of sand and desert tropical regions where people tend to look a certain way, they're going to look more like people who live in the snow. The sunlight hits them at a different angle, so they don't get as many UV rays. So their skin does not need as much pigment and melanin to deal with the sunlight, so their skin will get lighter. Now, I'm not saying in 5 generations they're going to look like friggin' Eskimos, but in 10 generations they'll look a little more Eskimo-ish than their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents. Yeah, that's how that works. Brain explosion. Google, what determines skin color? See if I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. Was Jesus Ethiopian? Show us all the Asian Christ. You can Google it. Google. Now I want to Google it. Man, you're distracting me. Hold on. I'll bet you there is one. Asian Christ. Yeah, there is one. Oh, Jesus say. Oh, there is one. Hold on one second. He actually looks white. Dude, even the Asians got white Jesus. How you going to deny it? Let's go to display. There, you want to see Asian Christ? There he is. Feast your eyes. Hold on. Oh, look at this one. Hold on, you guys can't see it. Hit this. We go here. Look at that. Confucius Christ. A lot of the Asian Christs look like a white guy, though. I'm sure you have a problem with that. Look at this Jesus. He got the dang Fu Manchu. He got slick back, straight type A hair or whatever type hair it is. You can't dread that hair. Wait, what's that say? How Asians remade Jesus. Jesus was first seen by many Asians as a tribal god of Ferengis. Jesus in Asia. Look. So you need to just chill out. You dang spurg. You dang race baiting spurg. Told you there's an Asian Jesus. Every region's going to depict Jesus how the people in that region look. Because it makes it more accessible to the people if he looks like them. And I don't have a problem with that. Because guess what? What Jesus looked like isn't what matters. It's not important. It's the message that's important. Jesus in a metal band would be so sick. Why do they get darker? Why would they get darker? Are they in desert high sun areas, Chris? It also has to do with how developed your country is too, how much time you spend in direct sunlight. Like in America, men used to be attracted to fair-skinned women. So in Song of Solomon's, when he says that the field worker was black and comely, it was a forbidden love. He wasn't supposed to be attracted to her. He shouldn't be attracted to her because, one, she was not from Israel. She was a slave. And so she was from a foreign land, and she's a field worker. She's a slave. He's royalty. Royalty. This is why the concubines and the stuff, they always have like white skin. Or if you watch any like old European movies, the princesses and the queens, they always have milky skin, like a milky complexion where it's almost like albino. That was considered prestigious because it showed that you were pampered your whole life. If a woman is it royalty, she gets pampered. She doesn't leave the castle. She stays in the castle. She's pampered. She's taken care of. She doesn't fall and bruise. She doesn't get scratched up. She doesn't get tough, leathery hands like a field worker. She's not having the sun beating down on her all day. So she would have a milky, fair complexion. And that was desirable among men because it showed that they came from a high family line, whereas darker skinned people were usually field workers. So you wouldn't want, nowadays it's the opposite. Now you get spray tanned up and girls want to be black. Everybody want to be freaking Whoa Vicky, Danielle Bregoli, Bad Bunny, or whatever the heck her name is. I love that girl. I'm just saying. But now every woman wants to get darker skin, and men find tanned women, dark tanned women attractive and exotic. But in the old days, men wanted fair-skinned, milky complexion was primo, top of the line. Anyway, where are we? He took rulers over the hundreds and captains in the guard and all. I think I read this already, so I'm going to read it fast. And all the people of the land, and they brought down the king from the house of the Lord and came by the way of the gate of the guard to the king's house, and he sat on the throne of the kings. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet. And they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Jehoash when he began to reign. 7 years old. And he just overthrew a kingdom. Nowadays, dudes be 35 living in their mom's basement playing video games on Social Security because they got depression. Like, meanwhile, back in this boy's day, 7 years old, we got a kingdom to overthrow, boys. We got crusades to go on. Chapter 12. In the 7th year of Jehu, Jehoash began to reign. In 40 years reigned he in Jerusalem, and his mother's name was Zebiah of Beersheba. And Jehoash did that which was right in the sight of the Lord all his days, wherein Jehoiada the priest instructed him. But the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places. And God told them not to do that a long time ago. And Jehoash said to the priests, all the money of the dedicated things that is brought into the house of the Lord, even the money of every one that passeth the account, the money that every man is set at, and all the money that cometh into any man's heart to bring into the house of the Lord, let the priests take it to them, every man of his acquaintance, and let them repair the breaches of the house, wheresoever any breach shall be found. So the king is taking money from the people, giving it to the priests to rebuild a structure that was damaged. That sounds like politics. That sounds kind of political to me. You mean, and also, instead of paying taxes, they just tithe. So the king is taking the tithe as a tax to repair structures that were damaged in wars. Is anything wrong? Is there anything wrong with that? I don't see anything wrong with that. But it was so that in the 23rd year of King Jehoash, the priests had not repaired the breaches of the house. These guys are slacking. What are they doing with all this money? We need some transparency with our taxation, king. Why is it? This is like, this is what happens when you let the government tax the people to fix something. 23 years later, they still haven't fixed it. But there is downsides to this. Then King Jehoash called for Jehoiada the priest and the other priests and said unto them, why repair ye not the breaches of the house? Now therefore receive no more money of your acquaintance, but deliver it for the breaches of the house. And the priests consented to receive no more money of the people, neither to repair the breaches of the house. But Jehoiada the priest took a chest and bored a hole in the lid of it, and set it beside the altar on the right side, as one cometh into the house of the Lord. And the priest that kept the door put therein all the money that was brought into the house of the Lord. Oh, they got an offering box. And it was so, when they saw that there was much money in the chest, that the king's scribe and the high priest came up, and they put in bags and told the money that was found in the house of the Lord. And they gave the money, being told, into the hands of them that did the work, that had the oversight of the house of the Lord. And they laid it out to the carpenters and builders that wrought upon the house of the Lord. See, even in a church, there's politics. There's somebody in the church that's an accountant that's deciding where all the tithing money's going. If it's not some prosperity gospel mega church where it all just goes into the dude's pocket so he can buy a jet. But any decent church, there's politics in the church. There's economic policy. There's what are we doing with the tithe? How are we going to organize our Sunday gatherings? What days, who's going to take care of the children if we have a daycare service? That's politics in Christianity. And it's good. What did they tell the money? What did they tell the money? I don't know, but basically the king was taking all the money from the people and giving it to the priests so they would rebuild the house, but they weren't doing it. So he said, no more, you're cut off. And then Jehoiada, he's a decent guy. He's like, I got a plan. Let's make an offering box. So they put a box by the altar, and they said, if you want to make donations, if you want to tithe willingly, charity, put it in the box. And then he said, everything in this box, we're giving it to the builders. We're going to fix this house. And to masons and hewers of stones, and to buy timber and hewed stone to repair the breaches of the house of the Lord, and for all that was laid out for the house to repair it. Howbeit there were not made for the house of the Lord bowls of silver, snuffers, basins, trumpets, any vessels of gold or vessels of silver of the money that was brought into the house of the Lord. But they gave that to the workmen and repaired therewith the house of the Lord. So instead of making a bunch of gold candlesticks, they said, let's actually use this money to pay the workers. I think that's a good move. I don't know how God's going to take it, but it seems like a good idea. Moreover, they reckoned not with the men into whose hands they delivered the money to be bestowed on workmen, for they dealt faithfully. The trespass money and sin money was not brought into the house of the Lord. It was the priests. Then Hazael, king of Syria, went up and fought against Gath and took it. And Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem. And Jehoash, king of Judah, took all the hallowed things that Jehoshaphat and Jehoram and Azahiah, his fathers, kings of Judah, had dedicated, and his own hallowed things, and all the gold that was found in the treasures of the house of the Lord, and in the king's house, and sent it to Hazael, king of Syria, and he went away from Jerusalem. So they paid him not to attack them. It's a smart move, I guess, if you got the money. But I don't know if you should be dealing with terrorists like that. And the rest of the acts of Joash and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And his servants arose and made a conspiracy and slew Joash in the house of Milo, which goeth down to Silla. For Josachar, the son of Shimeath, and Jehozabad, the son of Shomer, his servants, smote him, and he died. And they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. And Amaziah his son reigned in his stead. Chapter 13. In the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, king of Judah, Jehoahaz, the son of Jehu, began to reign over Israel and Samaria, and reigned 17 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat. See, all it takes is one father, one bad king, and the whole family line's going down. What did the money talks, but does it listen? And he did that, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, all their days. And Jehoahaz besought the Lord, and the Lord hearkened unto him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Syria oppressed them. And the Lord gave Israel a savior, so that they went out from under the hand of Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before time. Nevertheless, they departed not from the sins of the house of Jeroboam, who made Israel sin, but walked therein, and there remained the grove also in Samaria. Neither did he leave of the people to Jehoahaz, but 50 horsemen and 10 chariots and 10,000 footmen. For the king of Syria had destroyed them, and had made them like the dust by threshing. So see, this is an example of the hyperbolic battle time language that the Bible uses. It says that Hazael destroyed all of the people of Jehoahaz. But he didn't actually destroy all of them, because there's 10,000 foot soldiers left. There's chariots, there's horses. There's still some of them left. So when it says they went out and utterly destroyed them and left them as the dust of the earth, it doesn't actually mean that they killed every single one. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz and all that he did and his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehoahaz slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria, and Joash his son reigned in his stead. In the 37th year of Joash, king of Judah, began Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 16 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin, but he walked therein. And the rest of the acts of Joash, and all that he did, and his might wherewith he fought against Amaziah, king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Joash slept with his fathers, and Jeroboam sat upon his throne, and Joash was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, whereof he died. Elisha died. And Joash, the king of Israel, came down unto him, and wept over his face, and said, O my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And Elisha said unto him, Take bow and arrows. And he took unto him bow and arrows. And he said to the king of Israel, Put thine hand upon the bow. And he put his hand upon it. And Elijah put his hand upon the king's hands. And he said, Open the window eastward. And he opened it. Then Elisha said, Shoot. And he shot. And he said, The arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and the arrow of deliverance from Syria. For thou shalt smite the Syrians in Aphek till thou have consumed them. And he said, Take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the king of Israel, Smite upon the ground. And he smote thrice and stayed. So hit the ground 3 times. And the man of God was wroth with him and said, Thou shouldest have smitten 5 or 6 times. Then hadst thou smitten Syria till thou hast consumed it. Whereas now thou shalt smite Syria but thrice. Wait, he said, take this thing and hit the ground with it. And he hit the ground 3 times. And he said, you should have hit the ground 5 or 6 times because that's how much you're going to smite Syria. Since you only hit it 3 times, you're only going to smite Syria 3 times. That doesn't make any sense. But okay. Thanks, prophet, for giving me a hint. If you would have told me that, I would have kept smiting the ground longer. That was a trick. And Elisha died, and they buried him. And the bands of the Moabites invaded the land at the coming in of the year. And it came to pass as they were burying a man that, behold, they spied a band of men. And they cast the man into the sepulchre of Elisha. And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elisha, he revived and stood up on his feet. What? I don't remember this resurrection story. People don't like if you use the word resurrection. But it is a resurrection, right? This is now multiple people who have been brought back to life in the Bible. It's not just Jesus and Lazarus. This is just a random dude they were burying, and a band of thieves were coming along. So they're like, quick, let's just get rid of the body and get out of here. So they throw the body into the sepulcher where Elisha's body is. And this dead body touched the bones of Elijah and came back to life. That's wild. But Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Israel and that's just like one verse. 2 Kings 13:21. One verse. And that's an incredible miracle. That's like a big deal. And it's just one verse. Just one verse slipped into the middle of 2 Kings. I've never heard anybody bring that up. I've never heard anybody talk about that. It never gets mentioned. That's a crazy miracle. But Hazael, king of Syria, oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. And the Lord was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and had respect unto them, because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet. So Hazael, king of Syria, died, and Benhadad his son reigned in his stead. And Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, took again out of the hand of Benhadad, the son of Hazael, the cities which he had taken out of the hand of Jehoahaz, his father, by war. 3 times did Joash beat him and recover the cities of Israel. You should have hit the ground more times. You would have murked Syria more than 3 times, buddy. You're slacking. Oh, we are all well. All is well here, Abe. Um, should we do one more chapter? What time is it? It's 12. Oh, this is a long chat. Wait. No, we can do 14. We'll do 14. We'll stop at 15. This is war between Israel and Judah. Chapter 14. In the second year of Joash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, reigned Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah. He was 20 and 5 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 20 and 9 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jehoadan of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, finally. Yet not like David his father, he did according to all things as Joash his father did. Howbeit the high places were not taken away, as yet the people did sacrifice and burnt incense on the high places. You'd think one of these kings would figure out by now, hey, we were told not to make sacrifices on high places like all these pagans, demon worshippers do. We're not supposed to do that. We're supposed to make our sacrifices in the tabernacle, not wherever we want, willy-nilly on every hill and mountaintop and high place. We're not supposed to be making pyramids with our pet dinosaurs to do sacrifices like these darn pagans. You'd think one of the kings would figure it out and be like, we keep getting punished. What are we doing wrong here? We know the law. What part of the law? I'm trying to be like David. What part of the law am I missing? And then somebody would like poke him and be like, what about the high places? What about they're burning incense and sacrifices at the high places? Didn't God say explicitly, don't do that? Maybe that's it. You'd think one of them would figure it out and say, yeah, let's get rid of those high places. And it came to pass, as soon as the kingdom was confirmed in his hand, that he slew his servants, which had slain the king his father. But the children of the murderers he slew not, according unto that which is written in the book of the law of Moses, wherein the Lord commanded, saying, the fathers shall not be put to death for the children, nor the children be put to death for the fathers, but every man shall be put to death for his own sin. But God killed David's first son with Bathsheba. And see, this is why. So this could throw people off. This would like be something an atheist would jump on. So how do we reason this out? I think the only way to reason it is to say, God gave us the authority as men and leaders to dole out justice if this certain criteria is met in the law. But that doesn't mean that God has to follow those same rules. God is the father. If God tells the kid, do not touch my beers in the fridge, but then God drinks a beer, one of his beers out of the fridge, but tells his kids not to do it, he's not wrong for that. That's the only way I can reason it, because it says in the law of Moses, you don't kill children for their father's sins. But God kills children for their father's sins. Specifically, David's first son with Bathsheba, it says explicitly that God killed him, that God struck him down because of David's sin. Like it's plain as day. There's no way to argue around it and be like, well, maybe it was just no. God killed David's firstborn son from Bathsheba because that child was made in adultery, and David had screwed up. David got punished. God killed his first child. God killed lots of firstborn children for their father's sins. In the Passover, multiple times, children God commands children be killed for their father's sins. But the law says we do not kill children for their father's sins. So how do you reason that out? I think the beer example is the best way. The parents don't have the same rules as the children. We're the children. The lamb does not have the same rules as the shepherd. The shepherd will tell the lambs don't speak English, but for the analogy to work, the shepherd will tell the lambs, don't leave the fence. Don't walk off the cliff. Don't go into those thorn bushes. If you do, I'm going to smack you with this stick. But the shepherd can leave the fence. The shepherd could go cut his way through the thorn bushes and be safe. He's smarter than the lambs. He can do it. Do not toucheth my cold beer. Right. So I think that's how I reason that out. That's how I logic that out. Okay. But every man shall be put to death for his own sin. He slew of Edom in the valley of Salt 10,000, and took Salah by war, and called the name of it Joktheel unto this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Jehoash, the son of Jehoahaz, son of Jehu, king of Israel, saying, Come, let us look one another in the face. And Jehoash, the king of Israel, sent to Amaziah, the king of Judah, saying, The thistle that was in Lebanon sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give thy daughter to my son to wife. And there passed by a wild beast that was in Lebanon, and trode down the thistle. Thou hast indeed smitten Edom, and thine heart hath lifted thee up. Glory of this, and tarry at home. For why shouldest thou meddle to thy hurt, that thou shouldest fall, even thou, and Judah with thee? So that was like a little parable there about how the stronger of the two kings went to the weaker of the two kings, and a beast came and trampled over the weaker of the two kings. Imagine telling your buddies that Jesus drank the last beer. He'd be like, I can hear you. Well, if Jesus wants my last beer, he can have it. I'm not going to make that. I won't make that joke. That's kind of a blasphemous joke, but never mind. Forgive me for thinking that, God. I almost said something kind of messed up. But anyway, the thistle that blah, 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 blah. Thou hast indeed smitten Edom, and thine heart hath lifted thee up. Glory of this, and tarry at home. For why shouldest thou meddle to thy hurt, that thou shouldest fall, even thou, and Judah with thee? But Amaziah would not hear. Therefore Jehoash, king of Israel, went up, and he and Amaziah, the king of Judah, looked one another in the face at Beth Shemesh, which belongeth to Judah. And Judah was put to the worse before Israel, and they fled every man to their tents. And Jehoash, king of Israel, took Amaziah, king of Judah, the son of Jehoash, the son of Ahaziah, to Beth Shemesh, and came to Jerusalem, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem from the gate of Ephraim unto the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and silver, and all the vessels that were found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasures of the king's house, and hostages, and returned to Samaria. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoash, which he did, and his might, and how he fought with Amaziah, king of Judah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? Jehoash slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria with the kings of Israel, and Jeroboam his son reigned in his stead. I feel like this is like bouncing all around, because we've, like, hasn't Jehoash and Jeroboam, is this another Jeroboam? I feel like Jehoash and Jehoahaz and Jeroboam have all died multiple times now. It's so hard with all these different names to keep like a timeline in your head. And plus the Bible kind of jumps around. So like sometimes you'll read stuff and it actually takes place later, or it takes place before and you should have read it before you read something else. But Unless you know how, like, the chronological order, it's hard to read the Bible in proper chronological order. A lot of the stuff we don't really know, but I feel like Amaziah and Jehoash and Joash and Jobab and Jobab and Benadab, I feel like they've all died multiple times. I don't know if they're naming their kids after them or what, but. And Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, lived after the death of Jehoash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel, 15 years. And the rest of the acts of Amaziah, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? Like, I thought Amaziah died like 4 chapters ago. I thought Jehu, well, that's Athaliah, and Ahaziah. This is Amaziah. Okay, so it's just slight differences in spellings makes it hard to follow who's who. Are they not in the book of Chronicles of the Kings of Judah? Now they made a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish. But they sent after him to Lachish and slew him there. And they brought him on horses, and he was buried at Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. And all of the people of Judah took Azariah. So this is so there's Azamiah, Azahiah, and Azariah, which was 16 years old, and made him king instead of his father Amaziah. Okay. So Ahaziah is Amaziah's father, and Amaziah is Azariah's father. So Ahaziah, Amaziah, Azariah. It's alphabetical order. Aha, H, Amma, M, Azza, Z. Alphabetical order. Jehobabash, Jelushadash, Jehomadash, Jerobabam, Hirdabam, Dardabam, Ronodam, Ahaziah, Amaziah, Alakiah, Mazaliah, Jazariah, Jezreel, Jezebel, Jezreel, Jehoshaphat, Jerozabam, Jehobabam, Jodabam. Why can't we just get some dang Benjamins and Jacobs and Josephs and Joshuas? Can we get some white names? Instead of his father Amaziah, he built Elath and restored it to Judah. After that, the king slept with his fathers. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, began to reign in... Wait. So there's 2 Joashes. Because Amaziah is son of Joash, and Jeroboam is son of Joash. Unless Joash had 2 sons that ended up becoming kings of opposite kingdoms, which I guess is possible. Or there's 2 Joashes. Began to reign in Samaria and reigned 41 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed. Dude, it's like 1 in every 10 rulers does what's right in the sight of the Lord. Mosman's going to say that's the proof that politics and Christianity is bad. But the 1 in 10 is all I have to prove. All I have to prove is that 1 in 10 is going to be a righteous ruler. It was Jeroboam the second, who is the second Jeroboam mentioned in scriptures. He did approximately 100 years after Jeroboam the first, the one that split north and south. Okay, but there's 2 Joashes. Is there 2 Joashes, or... Because it says Amaziah, the son of Joash, was king of Judah. Jeroboam, the son of Joash, was king of Israel. So is this the same Joash had 2 sons that ended up becoming kings of opposite places, or are there 2 Joashes? Anyway, that doesn't clear anything up for us, Farney, because you still got Jehoahaz, Amaziah, Araziah, Alaziah, Jeroboam, Jeroboam. We still got a lot more. We're still confused on a lot more names here. I need a graphic. Let's see if we can find a graphic of pictures. Make it easier for me. What are we on? 23. I need some pictures. Family tree. Kings of Israel. If we can get one starting at Saul, that would be nice. Even if... Oh, we got it. Hold up. Oh my gosh, I'm not going to be able to read this thing. It's in Hebrew. I can't read this. Well, there's David, because it has the statue. I can't read this. This is like Arabic or Hebrew or something, or Greek or Latin. I don't know what language this is. I can't read this. Well, I found a family tree. Unfortunately, it's not in English. Cain? Well, that doesn't say Cain. I guess that's Saul. There's David. Maybe that's Solomon. Oh, Nepoboam and Poboam. That's probably Jeroboam and Jeroboam. Okay, let's find an English one. Can we do that? Do you have this in English? Kings of Israel and Judah family tree. Can I get one in English, please? I like the way that was set up, but... Oh, here we go. It's not the full picture, but we got David, Adonijah, Nathan, Solomon with Bathsheba. I wish I could see the whole thing. Solomon with Nama so it branches off at Solomon. Menelik, Solomonic dynasty of Ethiopia. Wow. Does that talk about that in the Bible, or is that extra biblical? Maybe that's in the some of the extra books that aren't in my Bible. We're going to read those too. Once we finish the Old Testament, we're going to go back and read all of the quote unquote apocrypha. My phone totally lost reception. I had you guys pinned up against the ring. Okay. Yeah, right. Is that what you think was happening there? Okay, Solomon, we go to Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Abijah and Asa. This is incomplete. This is incomplete. Okay, Saul, David, Solomon, Rehoboam, Abijah, Asa, Jehoshaphat, and Jehoram. Jezebel and Ahab. We just read about them not too long ago. And then the other Jehoram and Jeroboam, Nabat and Baasha, Elah, Zimri, and Omri. Ahab. Ahab was a real jerk, him and Jezebel. And then Ahaziah, we just read about, and Jehoram. And then we get Jehu, we just read about, and Ahaziah. So there's Athaliah, two Ahaziahs, an Amaziah. They don't have Azahiah on here. They don't have Azahiah on here. Indicates rulers of the United Kingdom of Israel. Jehoahaz, Jehoash, Jeroboam. There's 2 Jehoashes. Amon, Haziah. And there's 2 Jehorams. That's what I was asking. There's 2 Jehorams. There's 2 Jehoashes. Josiah, Jehoahaz. There's a couple Jehoahazes. It's 2 different Jehoahazes. Jehoiakim, Zedekiah, and Jehoiachin. Hosea. Hosea was a king? I thought Hosea was a prophet. Okay. There we go. There's the family tree. That's pretty much what we're working our way through right now. So if it gets confusing, just know we're just reading off the lineages of all of this tree right here. This is what we're learning right now by reading 2nd Kings. It's confusing. They're complicated names. I get it. Okay. Where was I? 23. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, began to reign in Samaria and reigned 41 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. He restored the coast of Israel from the entering of Hamath unto the sea of the plain, according to the word of the Lord God of Israel, which he spake by the hand of his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, which was of Gath-Hepher. Is that Jonah A? Is that the Jonah? Jonah 1:1. Yep, that's the Jonah from the book of Jonah. Jonah and the whale. For the Lord saw the affliction of Israel. And that's how you know that it's not in chronological order, because we're not going to get to the book of Jonah for a minute. Jonah was alive way back here in 2nd Kings. So it's not chronological. A lot of the prophets and stuff that we're going to read about later happened during 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st and 2nd Kings, 1st and 2nd Chronicles. Pretty sure 1st and 2nd Chronicles is just a recap of everything that happened throughout the 4 books of Kings or kingdoms. It's been hot here too. So hot and hurt. Shout out Sky Like Mine. Never seen you here before. Thank you for joining us. We're almost done. I got to get through this chapter. Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, which was of Gath-Hepher. For the Lord saw the affliction of Israel, that it was very bitter. For there was not any shut up, nor any left, nor any helper for Israel. And the Lord said not that he would blot out the name of Israel from under heaven, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam, the son of Joash. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam and all that he did, and his might, how he warred and how he recovered Damascus, and Hamath, which belonged to Judah, for Israel, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? Before Josh cottons on? What does that mean? And Jeroboam slept with his fathers, even with the kings of Israel, and Zechariah his son reigned in his stead. And now we're on chapter 15. Nice. Okay, that's all our reading for today. Here's a clue for you, Josh. I'm on 2 Samuel now. Is that Shaz? Is that not Shazzy? Is that Shiva? Second Samuel. Well, Shazzy's here too, but I think that's Shiva. Yeah, you're gonna catch up to me and pass me because I'm sure you're just. It's a lot easier to just read it, sit there and read it, than instead of reading it out loud and doing commentary and yelling at chat. That distracts me for a lot of my time. Change of direction. Jesus 40. Red, red wine. Guess what I watched last night? I was thinking about playing it this morning, but it's almost 12:30. I got to get going. Plus, it would kind of ruin the vibe. Last night on the Monday night show, we talked about a guy who crucified Pastor Bill. He crucified a pastor in Arizona. He killed him, and then the news story that we read on the show last night left this bit out. It said in the headline that he crucified the guy, but then when we read the story, it just says he killed him in his bed, and they found him in his bed. That's not the whole story. The whole story is he killed him, and then he screwed with a drill. He screwed him into the wall, crucified, and he put a sign by his head that said false teacher or false prophet or something like that. I listened to an interview of that guy from prison. There's a prison interview of him. And yeah, he's pretty crazy. He was pretty much mad at the Trinity. He said, God says he's the only God. Jesus is not God. And anybody teaching that Jesus is God is violating the first commandment, which is putting no other God before me. So he said, it's my job to kill these preachers. And he had a plan to go to 12 different states, 13 different states, and kill a priest in each state. And each one was going to represent a tribe of Israel. And he got caught after the first guy. This guy's crazy. But he was so against the Trinity that he set up this plan to murder all these guys. And he said it was God telling him to do it. The interviewer kept asking, she's like, well, there's a commandment that says thou shalt not murder. So you're ignoring that commandment because they violated the first commandment. And he's like, I'm not murdering them. God sent me to kill them. And there'd be some cray Christians. Shut up, Shiva. Nobody thinks that guy's a Christian. But anyway, I talked about him on the show last night. And then on my YouTube feed, it popped up. There's an interview with him in jail. And he's begging for the death penalty because he wants to prove that he can't be killed. So, and I don't think they have death penalty where he's at, or they're considering him for it, but he keeps saying, I want the death penalty and I want it as soon as possible. I don't want to go through all this court stuff. I want you to give me the death penalty right now so I can prove to the world that you can't kill one of God's chosen people. He thinks he's like a messenger, a warrior sent by God to kill these priests who are leading the flock astray, is what he says. And he says he wants to get the death penalty just to prove that they can't kill him, that he's not going to die. He's like, they can give me the death penalty, but I'm not going to die. They can't kill me. So it's wild. I'll keep us updated on that. Right. And from his perspective, that's what he's saying. He didn't actually do a murder because God sent him to do it. Which, you know, but I don't think God actually sent him to do that. But who knows? Why do I feel like he can be killed? Yeah. Something tells me he's pretty killable. Especially since he got caught after the first one while he was stealing a truck. He got caught so fast. And he's like, I was running from the cops and they sent the dogs after me and God was protecting me. He was telling me the right way to go. And he said, he said, they sent all the dogs after me and not a single dog bit me. The dogs were avoiding me because God was protecting me. And I'm like, well, why are you in prison then? Why did you fail your mission after the first one? If God was protecting you and keeping you from getting caught, why did you get caught? Pretty quickly. Like, you didn't even get that far into your mission, buddy. Getting caught after the first one is a big tell. Yeah, if he was sent by God and God was protecting him so that he couldn't be caught, then why'd he get caught after the first one? He's like, I've escaped from officers hundreds of times. Well, not this time you didn't. You failed. You should get an ephod and ask it. An ephod is like a the ephod is the thing that they would wear, right? We looked this up a while ago. In Leviticus, when it tells what the priests will wear, they wear an ephod on their chest with 12 stones representing the 12 stones of Israel, right? That's what an ephod is. Yeah, a vestment or apron-like garment worn by the high priest in ancient Israelite tradition, particularly in the Old Testament. What are you talking about? Ask an ephod. I'm going to ask a article of clothing, a question. You should get an ephod and ask it. Yeah, David keeps asking one question and God responds through it. Huh? David asked the priest to bring him the ephod so he can inquire for the Lord about whether to pursue a raiding party. Oh. The Urim and the Thummim. You know, Joseph Smith said he found the Urim and the Thummim. Those are two of the stones that were in the ephod. David used the ephod to inquire God whether he should pursue the raiders. This is why Joseph Smith said that he used the Urim and the Thummim to translate the tablets because and that's where like people get like seer stones and stuff, the ideas of that from. Folding washing. Got another load to hang out. Nice. All right, guys. Where can I raid you to? Oh, we just dropped from 17 to 9. This was a popular Bible study stream today. You guys should go back and watch it from the beginning. We covered some good stuff. I argued with some race baiter in the chat. He doesn't know who he's dealing with. I don't believe in racism, so I can't even be racist if I wanted to. It does look fun sometimes, though. All the best jokes. James is live. All right, let's go watch James play Call of Duty. Destiny's live. Did you see Destiny's son said that Mustache Man was a great guy, and now Destiny blocked his own son off of all of his Reddits and stuff? Destiny canceled his own son because his own son was in a stream with another kid, and he said Mustache Man was a great guy. Get Jason on him. I'm not trolling nothing. That's a true story. And his son, dude, I don't like, but now his son's in the public eye. He's starting to stream and stuff, and he's an older kid now, and they're in the public eye. I hate to like, it sucks, but his son is messed up. Like, you see him in the stream, and he's like this. And the guy's like, what do you think of Hler? And he's like, well, I mean, I guess he was kind of a great guy. And Destiny banned him. I don't know if he's 18, but he's not like a child anymore. He looks like he's probably 16 to 18 years old. I'm not sure how old he is. But anyway, I'll send you guys over to James. Watch him play some Call of Duty. Tell him get involved with his chat. Let me make sure he's actually still streaming, because sometimes when I do a read, okay, yeah, he's live. Okay, cool. He's playing Call of Duty. Go say hi to him. Give him a like. Put some chairs in his chat. And I'll see you guys later. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. And dude, I'm so happy I fixed the wheel on my scooter. I had a flat tire and I bought solid tires for it, but they suck to get on because you got to take the whole thing apart. Then you got to boil it in water to make it soft. And then you got to put soap on it. And then you got to use these pry bars and you got to pry it on. It was not fun, but I got it done. That means I'm going to save $100 a month from gas and or public transportation now. That's $100 extra in my pocket. And I get to ride the scooter. Gangster on that scooter. Don't even think, don't be making fun of me like, oh, you riding a scooter. You're 35, 30, how old am I? You're 37 years old riding a scooter around. Yeah, gangster. Scooter life, baby. Scooter. We balling out of control over here. All right. See you guys later. Say hi to James for me. Hit the like on his stream, and God bless. I will see you tomorrow. Peace.